and welcome to the latest roundup of news and polls from Ipsos in the UK, where we've been keeping track on the latest public opinion. It has been a busy few weeks as the Conservative leadership battle continues. We now have two key candidates. We have Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss battling it out to be the next Prime Minister, and we've seen them battle it out on television debates around public services and tax rises. But the public are still quite split on who would make a good alternative to Boris Johnson. 4 in 10 tell us they think Rishi Sunak would do a good job as Prime Minister, and his ratings are now slightly ahead of Keir Starmer's own ratings, for whom around 1 in 3 think that he would do a good job. And despite Liz Truss being behind both Starmer and Sunak from the general public's opinion, more Britons do think that Liz Truss would make a good Prime Minister than they thought earlier this month. We know, of course, it is the members of the Conservative Party that will make this decision, and Liz Truss is still tracking well ahead of Rishi Sunak in many of the membership polls. Rishi Sunak is currently the most well known by the public, and he has around 6 in 10 who say that they know a great deal or a fair amount about him and are able to identify his previous position. And when we ask the public about the kind of leadership attributes they would like for the next Conservative leader, the backgrounds of the candidates have come into question. And we ask the public, does this matter? And they tell us in most cases, no, it doesn't make a difference. But there are some characteristics which give a candidate an advantage and some that they perceive give a disadvantage. Advantages: having experience in public services and business, whilst around 1 in 3 think that having an upper class background or being particularly wealthy from your upbringing are a disadvantage. And whilst the candidates ruled out the potential for an early general election, the public are quite split over whether Labour or Conservatives would win a next election. They think a fresh start's more likely under a Labour government than under a Conservative one with a new Prime Minister. And they tell us that honesty, understanding Britain's problems and being in touch with ordinary people are really critical characteristics they want to see in their new Prime Minister. And overall, when we look ahead to the next general election, 36% of the British public say Rishi Sunak would be more likely to help the Conservative Party win the election. Only 1 in 5 say Liz Truss. However, 1 in 5 also say that they're both equally likely to win, and 1 in 4 say that they do not know. If you want to hear more, do listen into our Conservative Leadership Election episode of the Ipsos Politics and Society podcast, where we take a data-driven look at the race to become the next Prime Minister. And looking ahead, once we do have a new Prime Minister, the economy is quite challenged. And they're going to be facing a number of big public priorities like the cost of living crisis as we come into the autumn period. And it looks like neither party is particularly trusted by the public to deal with either tax and public spending or indeed reduce the cost of living. And on that, which is the number one issue that people think is facing the country today, it may be concerning that the Conservatives are trusted less than Labour on that. It's also unsurprising that 3 in 4 of Britons believe that the UK is already experiencing an economic recession, and even amongst those who do not know if we're in a recession at this point, half of them expect it to happen by the end of 2022. Elsewhere, public services remain under pressure and the public are clear on the challenges facing the NHS. Long waiting lists and times is the most concerning issue amongst Britons when they think about the NHS today. And whilst the public have faith in the quality of care provided by the NHS, they are worried about being able to access that care when they need it. 2 in 3 say they're not confident that they would be seen quickly if they needed emergency care in A&E, and a similar proportion say they're not confident that they could get a GP appointment at a suitable time. Do sign up also to our mental wellness and health technology webinar, where some of our Ipsos experts will be joining digital health leaders David Mao, CEO at Cerebral, and Alisa Dietz, who's the Senior Director at Twill. And finally, we've found that 7 in 10 think social media companies should do more to protect people online, and also some really interesting research on how brands can make sustainability communications really genuine and authentic. Do visit our website for our latest polls and research insights, www.ipsos.com/en-UK. Thank you very much and have a good summer.